Hey, it's Laura. It is Tuesday evening, and I just posted a blog on myinnerstruggle.com. And tomorrow morning, you can view the latest podcast, and it is all about making decisions. And if you have not seen a previous podcast, I urge you to check it out. One of the things that I wanted to mention is sort of like the grind. And we are not machines. And very often, as business owners and entrepreneurs, we are going constantly because there's a lot that needs to get done. But there's nothing that won't be there tomorrow. So it's very important, even if you're not a business owner, to take some space, be still, be in the moment. It's how we figure out how we're going to get to the next step. And this weekend was kind of a low weekend for me, I have to say. Being without my children is a challenge at times for me. And sometimes I have to create things for myself to do. There are parts of the weekend that I love, and I'm getting ready for my week. So that is fulfilling to me because I know that I'm doing something positive that will carry me through the week and it'll help me in the week since my weeks can be sometimes crazy. So I paused a lot this weekend. I definitely thought about a lot of things this weekend, and they're definitely in the blog, in the podcast, and all of it. I literally started this journey 8 years ago, right after the death of my mother. And I didn't even realize, I knew at the time that I needed to change. I needed something to change. I definitely did not want to keep living my life the same way. But more importantly, I didn't want to keep wasting my years like she did. And life is too short. But I didn't really realize until that space came about last year when I lost so many friendships and relationships that there was all this empty space. And Julie and I did a podcast on creating space as well. So if you haven't listened to it, you should definitely check it out. But creating space just allows us to let new things enter, but also gives us space to ponder, what is or what was. And little did I realize until fairly recently that when my mother died, I was sort of released in a way. And the more I think about as a coach, how they tell you you should define your niche, you should zero in on your audience so that you can help those individuals, those specific individuals, and not have it be so general. The thing is I've always struggled with that because my inner struggle, it's everything. It's everything. There was so much growth in the year 2023 for myself, and it was probably the most defining year of my life. Losing someone that I loved very greatly, and losing so many friendships, and really being left with nothing but to figure out and heal from all of that old bullshit. So while I've been working on myself for the past 8 years, you go through all of these layers just like an onion. And I kept discovering more and more things about myself. And maybe defining my niche was a discovery process. Actually, I know it was a discovery process. Loving myself was a big part of that process. 8 years ago, I hated myself. I couldn't stand to look at myself. I didn't like who I was. Forget about appearances, but I didn't like how angry I felt or anxious or like a victim. And I spent these last 8 years devoted to really recreating myself, asking myself why in every situation, every trigger that occurred, like why I was the way I was. And I think most of us go through life not even realizing why we feel the way that we do, why we're negative, why we automatically criticize other people, because that has more to do with us than it does anyone else. And until you tackle that bullshit, you'll just continue on that same pattern. I have so much to share, and I don't want anyone to feel bad for me. It was painful. And the way things progressed and ended in my relationship really triggered a lot of feelings from my childhood, which was so, now I can say, interesting. But they say that childhood trauma leaves you wanting love. Teenage trauma leaves you wanting revenge. And now all I want is peace. I know, I've done so much digging, and I know that I'll get there. I'm pretty damn close. And the act of self-discovery is a beautiful thing. The healing part is way hard. I will say that for damn sure. The healing part is the hardest part and probably takes the longest. And when I think about my niche, I am me. It is everything. But perhaps it's rediscovering myself, helping other people with their childhood traumas, and helping them recreate their new selves so that they can lead a happy and fulfilling life going forward. I'm nervous, but also excited to share all of that with you. It's healing and scary to say some of those things out loud. And I wrote basically everything in my book, but it's not done yet. And I can't keep waiting to share it. So I'm deciding what to share and when. But all of those painful times, memories, events shaped me to who I am now. And unfortunately, pain is the biggest lesson. I'm not sad, I get emotional because it hurts, and it's unnerving to be able to share it. But I want to, because I want you to know that you're not alone. And we can do this together. And it'll make both of us, all of us, better people.